Hey guys, so we are here today in Colorado. We made it back from the Indiana rally, and we've just been getting a lot of stuff done this week. But we are out exploring today, and we are at a place called Seven Falls, and Jason looked it up as, you know, something to do out here, and so we drove to where the website says to go, and then it turns out they provide free parking, and then they drive you up here
in a shuttle.
Shuttle, and then you pay $15 to get in, and it's just privately owned land, but it's in this like beautiful canyon, and it has this stream running down, and then obviously Seven Falls, because I thought it meant we had 7 waterfalls.
Yeah.
Well, once we got to the top, it's one waterfall that they have somehow said is 7.
Yeah, that they split up into 7 because of how it stops, but still very beautiful, and it's a little bit of a hike to get to the top. It's
a little
0.8,
yeah,
slight incline up.
Yes.
And then they have these nice little offshoots, so it's like it's a paved road all the way up, or you can take
over here's the paved road,
or you can take this like sidewalk that's like a little hiking trail.
Yes.
Right next to the stream, so that's nice, and that's what we're taking on our way down. They do have a restaurant up there that we actually ate at, and it was delicious food.
It was really good.
They have beer, which is always good too.
Yes, and they had wine from Napa, so I did have a glass because I've been missing my California wine. And yeah, it kind of actually turned into like a nice little date afternoon, because we don't really have like dates anymore, I guess. I mean, like, we do if we set an intention to go out on a date, but this was like the atmosphere of like a nicer restaurant, and like it was just a really cute, it was decorated in like a mining theme, but like a fancy mining theme, which I know sounds a little ridiculous, but it worked.
Yeah, it really worked. Definitely a tourist destination, and they like try to make it very fancy. Yeah. And they, you know, it's expensive, but
right.
It's cool. I would say it's worth
$15 just to walk 0.8 miles. They do have 2 trailheads, I'll give them that. Yeah. And then, but I just thought it was funny because we got to like the top of the viewing area, and right when you get up there, there's like a gift shop. I just thought that was funny, but it's like, if you have an afternoon, I would say come. Have lunch, otherwise I don't feel like it's worth it. You're gonna just be in and out so quick for $30. So yeah.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. I wish I owned private land like this.
Yeah, that would be really nice. So we're gonna show you a little bit more of what we're talking about. Do you know what you're doing?
No. Alright, so we made it back to the Norris Penrose Rodeo Event Center where the parking lot is. But if you just put it into, you put in Seven Falls, Broadmoor into Google, it'll take you right here, luckily.
Yes. So I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but we're actually in Colorado Springs this week, so that's why we're exploring this area. So this was about, what, 20-minute drive from where we are?
Yep.
Oh, let's get in the car.
We're at the KOA it's Colorado Springs KOA, but it's actually in Fountain, which is south. But everything's really close here, surprisingly.
Yes.
I've been looking at the map and it looks far away, but then it takes like 5 minutes to get here. So.
Yeah, and the KOA, we're staying there again just because we had really poor planning and we booked last minute. It's not actually a bad facility, but there are better options obviously out here in Colorado. Some of the state parks are just gorgeous. And yeah, so I'm gonna look up, someone recommended one, so when I looked it up it was gorgeous, but I knew we wouldn't be able to get in, so I'm gonna look that up in the car and let you guys know what that is, so you can stay in the pretty places when you come. Okay, so I looked it up and our patron recommended staying next time at Cheyenne Mountain State Park because it's supposed to have beautiful views and it's up more in the like base of the mountains. So that definitely sounds like a better place to stay.
Yeah.
If you're a planner. So we actually just drove through Garden of the Gods because we obviously wanted to see it, but if you couldn't tell, today's not really a hiking day for us. So
yep. And it's been raining on and off, so
yeah, it started raining like right when we pulled in and stopped right when we left, so we just took that as a sign of not even to get out of the car. But it was still really crowded and obviously a ton of people on the trails out there, and I think if we were locals, like that would be like our spot.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I would love to like exercise up there. So now we are in
Manitou Springs, which
Yes.
is an awesome little town at the base of Pikes Peak.
Yes.
I believe is what it's called.
And just driving through it, it's so cute. It is the cutest little town. So we're gonna play tourist and show you.
Good. Tastes like soda water.
How's that compared to the first one?
The first one was better, more soda-y. This one's just more regular mineral watery.
Oh.
So, all in all though, I would drink that again. 10 out of 10 sips.
All right, we found this castle called Miramont Castle that we just had to stop and talk to you about really quickly because the little plaque here is very interesting. But basically there was a Catholic priest that came over from Rome, and he was then the priest of Manitou Springs. He built this in 1896 and moved in with his family. His mother moved with him as well. And then they only lived in it for about a year, but it was this prideful piece of architecture. It's actually 4 stories, and he integrated 9 different types of architecture from back home as his inspiration in building it. And then they ended up selling it, and it became a sanitarium for about 8 years, and then after that they turned it into an apartment complex. And it kind of went downhill from there, and it just became this derelict property that eventually the city bought back and refurbished into what it is today. And then in 1977 they made it a historical landmark for this area. So I find that so interesting. Like, that storyline is so crazy to me, of being this castle built by a priest and then turned into basically a rundown apartment complex. But thankfully they refurbished it, and it's so cool. When you came around the corner and we saw this, it just like pulls you in. So anyway, that's a little history of this castle. So it started sprinkling, so we took coverage in the car, but we are totally obsessed with this little town. It is so cute. When we first looked it up, the thing that they're known here for is, what's it called?
The Incline.
The Incline, which is like, I don't know, you read this whole thing to me and it made it sound miserable.
It used to be like a cog railroad thing to the top of the mountain, and then they took it out, and now it's just like 2,000 some odd steps. And it looks miserable, but we will do it someday.
You can also take a train to the top. We obviously didn't do that today. It's getting a little late in the day. And as I said before, this is a lazy tourist day for us. But we found one more spring, so we gave that one a try. And I think it's really fun that the springs here are carbonated. I don't think we've tried carbonated springs before, have we?
No, maybe the Sarasota springs might have been carbonated, but they also tasted very
they were disgusting,
metally.
They tasted like sulfur and eggs.
Yeah, so
this is just like refreshing. It has like a weird tang to it almost.
Yeah.
And then it's bubbly. It's really weird. I can't explain it. We drove around the neighborhood just to take a look at the homes here, and they're so eclectic. Like, they're so different. It's just really cool. And then now as we're pulling out, right across the street here is this spa where they have hot tubs on the balcony, and it's a covered patio. So even though it's sprinkling, like, they're still chilling in the hot tubs, having a great time. I'm very jealous of these people over here.
I'm sure it's mineral water.
I'm sure it is too. So anyway, this town is just really cool.
Yeah, it's our style.
Our style for sure. So if you are in the Colorado Springs area, you have to take the drive up to Manitou Springs. I don't think there's any RV parks up here. There was one kind of on the way in, and it looked really packed, but yeah, I mean, it's an option. So anywho, we are gonna head home and maybe go in the hot tub at the KOA if it's not jam-packed, because now looking at these people makes me super jealous. Okay, good morning. It is moving day, and yesterday we actually, on the way home, our check engine light came on, and it's the same code that we had in Mammoth.
Yep.
Right? Which we did manage to clear. It cleared later that day, and it hasn't come on since then, and that was in like March, April?
Yeah.
So anyway, we decided, let's get it checked out this time, maybe let's not move. So Jason went to the front office this morning and asked if we could extend our stay 2 nights, and they, I guess, we're having difficulty with the system. Or
Yeah,
what?
they had a really hard time even looking up where I was and then seeing if the site was available.
Okay, and then they said no, and then he's like, okay, we'll maybe just 1 night then, we'll take the truck in the morning tomorrow, and then they said no, so someone's coming in today, which is totally fine. However, I'm just gonna go on a little side rant, because this is the kind of stuff that drives me absolutely nuts at campgrounds, and this isn't KOA specific. We get this all the time everywhere. I don't understand how these campgrounds don't have modern technology or modern systems that can easily show if a campsite is booked or not. And with KOA and most of these other campgrounds, you're not booking a specific site, you're just booking a type of site. So even though someone's coming in today, if they were coming in for 2 nights, I'm not kidding, there's about 6 open sites directly behind us. There is 5 more down here, and then the row behind that, there is nobody in that entire row. So whatever, we're still gonna go where we were planning to go. It's no big deal to us, but like, literally, this isn't the first time this has happened, and we've just walked away from campgrounds, which is fine. We're saving money, but like, they're losing out on money because their system is just like so janky that they're just losing money. But because we've had this error code before, we're okay towing. We've only planned on going about 70 miles today. We're going to a boondocking location in Salida. I still don't know exactly how to say it yet. Do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
Don't know.
But we found, you know, a Ram dealership down there that can at least take a look at it. So it's fine. If we were like in a dangerous situation, I probably would have gone up to the front and been like, hey, look, you're not even at 50% capacity. Like, can we at least move sites? And I'm sure we would have figured that out. I could probably go onto the KOA website right now and book a spot in this park for tonight, but frankly, like, I just don't care that much. So that's my little Rays rant. We're done with that section. So let's go boondocking.
All right.
So we made it to where we want to boondock. We knew based on the Campendium reviews that they were like a quarter mile off the main highway, and they said there's plenty of pullouts immediately. So that's why we didn't get a campground for tonight to then scout. We knew we could just scout before. So another use for our power bikes, our rad power bikes that we love, is that we've used this a couple times to get close enough to where we want to be, and then we just hop on the bikes and we go scout. So it's perfect to do that. So we are gonna probably just go up. There's a couple little loops, but there's also like right here, we already saw a fire pit, so we could just like come into this loop if nothing else looks, you know, where we want to be. So let's go scouting. So we are all settled in. Leveling this beast was a challenge and a half today. We were off by like 4 degrees from side to side. So we used every single Lynx leveler we have, but we are mostly level. Still feels a little wonky, but it says we're level. You know that feeling? Anyway, and of course, we set up in the rain, we're leveling in the rain. And now we're like done. We finally get the slides open and it stopped raining. That's okay. We'll take no rain over having rain for the rest of the day, that's for sure. And I mean, look at this view. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. And Carmen loves it too. I think she likes boondocking more than we do. We are really digging this boondocking spot. It's just so laid back and relaxed, and for me, I think it's one of my favorite boondocking spots that we've ever had, simply because I'm feeling a lot more relaxed here. I don't really know, I've been trying to figure out how to put it in words. I've just felt really uneasy when we've been boondocking before, and it's just, I don't know if it's because I feel separated from society, or I've watched too many murder movies and documentaries, or we've listened to too many murder podcasts. But once it gets dark when we're boondocking, I get scared. Like, I guess it's an uneasy feeling. I can't exactly pinpoint it, but here I'm happy to report that I'm actually sleeping through the night. I feel relaxed, and I don't know if it's because we're really not far from civilization.
Yeah, you can still hear the traffic noise in the background, so that helps you sleep at night.
It does help me sleep at night, for real. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I don't feel so far removed. So this is like the perfect mix for me, because you can still kind of hear the highway. There are houses up here actually, so if needed. Like, I could literally run to someone's house. It's a weird, I don't know how to explain it, and I'm probably not explaining it right, but that's just been like my personal thing with boondocking.
Yeah, and I haven't had a problem boondocking.
No, you don't care either way at all. And you've been tweaking the solar this week.
So it's been a good week to test the solar. We've had bright blue skies most of the days, and we've just been watching it, and I feel like we've had issues. So we have 2 MPPT controllers, each controlling 3 200-watt solar panels, and it just didn't feel like we were getting the wattage that we should, or the amp hours out of them, because it's 1200 watts up there, but it just wasn't really doing it. So I went up there with the multimeter this week, and I tested them, and one of the panels wasn't providing any input, and it took like 4 days, because it was one of those like intermittent problems where like I'd go up there, I would like redo an MC4 connector and connect it all, and it would work, and then I'd come down, and then like an hour later it'd stop working, and I'd go back up there and I'd like move another cable and like replace another thing, and so it just took a bunch of this and that and trial and error, and finally it's been working for 2 days now, all 6 panels, but now we've come to the conclusion that it's not enough for our needs.
You've come to the conclusion.
Yeah, it's great. We're able to use our batteries, and then it recharges up to about 90%, and then we use it down again, and it recharges up to about 90%. And so,
which is fine.
No, it's perfectly fine and usable, but
I know you just want to hit that 100 mark.
Yes, I want to make sure that all of our usage, which we do high usage,
we do,
is covered, because what's the point of having this awesome system if it's like 90% of the way there?
Yes.
So 2019 is still here, and the solar rebate is still here, so might as well throw a couple more panels in there. But
yes,
yeah,
probably when we get back to LA or pass through Arizona, where we can pick up some more panels.
Yep.
But other than that, we also went, well, you went and got the truck looked at.
Yeah, once again, we just went to a Ram dealership, which really don't like doing, but I don't know, I just like to trust a diesel mechanic, so I didn't have really time to find the best diesel mechanic. So, you know, I sat at the Ram dealer for 3 hours, and they pretty much told me, like, we had 3 issues that we went in and asked them about. The major ones were we had lights coming on, so we had a light for 299 and 191, which is fuel rail code and underboost to our turbo, and so those, I've replaced the fuel filter and the air filter and a couple of things, and then they went off, and then they went back on, and then they went off again. And so they were off when I took them to the dealership, of course.
Of course.
And so they just ran a code to update it. They flashed, they had like an update on one of their tech service bulletins, TSBs, that updated it to the firmware for one of the codes, the 191. So we'll see. That's also the one that went off in Mammoth. So hopefully that solves that code. But yeah, we'll have to see, and we'll keep an eye on that. The other issue we went in is for our AC. When we're towing and it's hot out, we'll just stop working. So it freezes up. I feel like it freezes up or something. A lot of people have Rams and have issues with like the recirculating door falling on top of the blower, because the blower's blowing, you can hear it going, and there's no air coming out of the vents, or just a little bit. Anyway, so we've looked at a couple of those issues, but the Ram dealership said, oh, your AC is freezing up. And I said, is that a normal thing to do in a truck, like, or a car that you guys make that's, you know, $80,000 new? Is that just the AC freezes? That's your answer? And they're like, yeah. So I'll continue to self-diagnose and get someone else to check that out, because yeah,
it's obviously an issue. They just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, the time when you want to use the AC the most, when it's hot, is when it shouldn't be freezing up, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so
that is I think a wrap up of the week with the truck and the solar and boondocking, and now we are going to go check out the cute little downtown here in Salida.
Yeah.
Salida.
Going to downtown and getting a beer and some food is rewards, because while we've been here, we've also been able to get our habits back on track for working out. If you remember in our video a couple weeks ago, we said we started this workout program, and we did a really bad job keeping up with it while we drove to Indiana.
Yeah.
So
we didn't work out in Indiana. We didn't eat right in Indiana,
Yeah.
but it was worth it for the Grand Design Rally. But we were back on track.
Yeah, back on track.
Worked out every day,
Yeah.
meal prepped. So this is our like cheat meal where we get to go out on the town and have dinner and a drink and feel good about ourselves.
All right, well, I'm starving, so let's go.
So we're almost packed up and ready to go. We are heading to the Great Sand Dunes National Park area, hoping to find some boondocking out there. But before we go, we did pick up our mail this week, and this was in the mail from Camco, this cooler. So we're very excited to use it. And it came with a coupon code if you guys are interested in picking one up, which is 20 Getaway. We'll get you 20% off. They have two different sizes. I believe this is their bigger size, and they have a ton of different colors. Personally, I really like the white and gray. I think it's really clean, but they have a lot of bright, fun colors too, if you like to spice up your, camping, outdoor, cooler looks. But either way, yeah, we just wanted to let you guys know about that and thank Camco for sending it to us. We won't be making any money off of this. I know sometimes people like to know that. So it's literally just a coupon code to get you guys a discount. And yeah, there's a handful of RV companies that we really like to support, and Camco's one of them. So we
have a bunch of their products.
We do.
I'm sure you do too.
Yes. I mean, if you have the Rhino hoses, if you have those blue water filters, like that's all Camco stuff. So we just really like that company. So we're pretty stoked to test out this cooler. We'll let you guys know how we like it, but we're gonna hit the road now. So stick around for next week's episode, which will be Great Sand Dunes. We're gonna hunt down some hot springs there too. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join our Getaway gang. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Okay, so this is the...
Looks like I don't have any.
Okay. Lose it, this hair, okay. All right, go.